AITA for taking my daughter's side? I have a daughter, 14F, with my ex. My ex in total is 4 kids, 1 with me and 3 with her current husband, 9M, 7F, 4F. She had to downgrade her home because of some financial issues and now they live in a 3-bedroom home. Yesterday my ex called me angrily and asked me to talk some sense into my daughter. Apparently, daughter and ex had a huge fight when my daughter found out she is supposed to share a bedroom with her half-brother. My daughter told her mom that she wants a room for herself or she will stop going to her home. I told my ex, well, I understand that she has financial issues, but she needs to understand that my daughter shouldn't have to share a bedroom with her brother if she doesn't want to do so. I said that I think my daughter is right and asked if I should pick her up since it seems like she is not willing to give her a bedroom for herself. She called me an AmItheAsshole and ended the call.
AITA for not giving up my seat on the bus to my girlfriend. My girlfriend, 27F, and I, 26M, went out for a special event and we were both very dressed up. It was in another city and we don't have a car so took the bus there. On the way back we realized we had some unexpected errands to do in the other city and we spent a good hour walking around. The city is hilly with older cobblestone paths and this was quite tiring for me, as I'm not the most fit. When we caught the bus to go home, I entered the bus first and took the last available seat and my GF stood next to me. When the bus started moving, she asked if she could take my seat as her feet were tired and I declined as I was tired and quite breathless still. When we got home she said I was being inconsiderate, since she was in heels. I didn't really think that's relevant since she almost always wears heels, but she said those were stilettos and she normally wears block heels, but I don't really know the difference and I didn't think it mattered for standing, maybe for walking. She is more fit and goes to the gym and has more stamina and it was just her feet that were tired, so I feel I deserved the seat more. Besides, it was her choice to wear the shoes. AITA here since I was actually tired and got to the seat first.
AITA for telling my mother-in-law that I don't like her food. My husband, 23, and I, 21, both come from different cultures. For example, I am actually an immigrant and only moved to America when I was just 12 years old. There is a lot of things my husband and his family does differently than mine. Things that I'm not quite accustomed to. One being how they prepare and season their food. To me it's just super bland and the stuff they choose of food combinations just doesn't seem to go together. For example, my greater than mother-in-law puts mayo on literally everything. I even seen her make a tortilla pizza as mayo as her base, which she offered to me. Each time she offers me food I always make up some kinda excuse to avoid eating it and try to be as polite as possible about it. But unfortunately for me, after I invited her to dinner, she felt compelled to do the same for me even when I told her it's not necessary. The next day after the dinner we had together, she started making plans with my husband. When my husband brought it up to me, I told him I really didn't want to go, to which he replied, "My mom's food is not that bad, could you please just deal with it for one day?" Now in most cases I would have just suck it up in order to maintain a good relationship with my but I'm pregnant in my first trimester and am feeling extra nauseous. I honestly don't think I'd be able to keep the food down in the condition I'm in. My husband grew up eating her good, which is maybe why he doesn't think it's that bad. I mean, even my family thinks so. When my mom invited her over for a family get-together, she brought some pasta which sauce tasted like a whole package of ketchup was dumped in it. I ended up venting to my sisters and mom about the issue and they all give me the advice to just be honest, and my mom even said that if I don't be honest now it's something I'll have to deal with for the rest of my life. So I decided to call her and express to her that I'm not accustomed to eating the type of foods she's used to making, and since I'm pregnant it'll be really hard for me to swallow because of my nausea. I even offered to teach her the recipes from my homeland that she seemed to really enjoy. It didn't go too well. She was really offended and told me that she'll never cook for my ungratefuls again, and told my husband. My husband is really disappointed in me because he felt like I should have just pretended to keep the peace and is upset that now my doesn't even want to invite me over again. I feel super bad now and seriously want to know if I'm the AmItheAsshole in this situation or if I was being too mean or disrespectful. Am I in the wrong? Update: I have invited my mother-in-law out to a tea cafe and spoke to her in person. I was able to explain myself better and I choose not to back down on me not liking the type of food she cooks. I'm sorry, but like, this is my life and I'm choosing not to live the rest of my future being pressured into eating foods I do not like, and I'm also choosing to live my relationship based on honesty. I had an honest discussion with my and explained to her that I love her as a person and appreciate the time and effort she puts into making my husband and I food, but I honestly do not like the type of food she chooses to make. I explained to her that it doesn't make her any less of a person or a bad cook, it's just my personal preferences. She took it extremely well this time and apologized for insulting me and told me that she never been the best cook and would love to take me up on my offer to learn some meals from my homeland. I ended up suggesting that we take cooking classes together and she loved the idea. I think the little bump in the road gave us a stronger bond and I am glad we were able to patch things up. I personally don't think the advice I was getting from the majority of this sub was good advice and would recommend to anyone in my situation to be honest and kind. I even made it known to my mother-in-law that I myself would appreciate the same kinda honestly coming from me, and if she ever disliked food I made or even a gift I gave to please let me know so I can make or get something she'd enjoy. She even made jokes about previous gifts I got her lol.
AITA for not wanting to make dinner every night? I, 40F, had jaw surgery in November, and have had me jaw wired shut ever since. I'm mostly surviving on Ensure, blenderized soups, smoothies, and baby food. It's been tough. During this time, I have continued to make my child's breakfast every morning, make his lunch for school, do the grocery shopping, and make dinner most nights. Honestly, my husband, 40, works full-time, and doesn't really feel like cooking when he gets home. I get it, but at the same time, making dinner every night, endaving to watch and smell it cook when I know I can't eat it is awful. And I know there are lots of ways to blend proper meals, but by the time I add enough broth, juice, etc. to make it drinkable, it's disgusting. The other night, I asked if he could make dinner at least a few nights a week, and he got pretty offended. He said that since I'm not working, I'm in medical leave, it's nice to come home to dinner being ready and not having to rush to start it. Last night, I thought I could compromise and get all of the ingredients prepared and ready so he could just do the actual cooking, and he was pretty ticked off all night. Am I being unreasonable? AITA for not wanting to cook every night?
AITA for telling my 13-year-old niece the truth about Santa Claus? I, F30, have a niece who is 13. Up until a week ago, she still believed in Santa. I asked her parents, my brother and Sil, if she was just pretending to still believe to not make them feel bad, or maybe to get more gifts or something, but he were adamant she still believed. Last Christmas Eve I was at their house for dinner, and she kept saying things like, I'm so excited for Santa to come tonight, and telling me everything she had asked him for and wondering what country he was in at that very moment. She doesn't have any younger siblings, so it's not like she was saying this for anybody else's benefit. She is a smart girl, does well in school, and has no developmental delays that I know of. She just, for whatever reason, still believed in Santa at age 13. Her parents didn't seem to have an issue with it. They said they absolutely did not want to tell her the truth and ruin the magic of Christmas. Plus they said it was beneficial for them because believing in Santa would encourage her to be good, in the hopes of getting better presents, not getting coal. I love my niece a lot, and after agonizing this for some time, I felt it might be necessary to tell her the truth if her parents were refusing. I remember how brutal middle school girls can be. I mean, she had to be the only girl at her school who still believed in Santa. If it somehow got out Thatch still believed, and she got teased or bullied, that could be brutal and awful for her. Wasn't it better to hear it from her aunt than some mean girl or guy? So, a week ago, I told her the truth. I tried to do it in a gentle way, explaining that what Santa represents, the spirit of Christmas, is very real, but that there wasn't actually a guy with flying reindeer going to every kid's house in one night to deliver presents. She didn't say much and got a bit teary-eyed. But she did reach out to me a few days later and let me know that she appreciated me telling her the truth. Her parents, however, are furious at me and not talking to me. I feel like I did the right thing, but I know it was against her parents' wishes. AITA? AITA for yelling at someone to shut up? I, 34F, go to a gym nearby 4x a week. The classes are 1 hour long each, and you go from treadmill, tour hour, to weights. There is one lady who comes in with her friends, who I'll call the Banshee, that are incredibly annoying. I'll also add that I have social anxiety disorder and am slightly on the spectrum, so loud distractions like that really stress me out. They play music during the class, but I'm actually able to zone out most of the time and just listen in on the coach's voice or just try to enjoy the music if it's something I like. The Banshee and her friends talk at the beginning of class when the coaches are explaining what the workout is going to be, and the Banshee takes it upon herself to scream every time we are at the end of a block or sing, not well, very loudly to the music. Now, while the talking is annoying and distracting, I deal with it because I don't feel it's my place to tell someone when they can speak, but the screaming. Jesus. This woman must have implanted a harpy whistle down her throat. Most of the time I try to ignore it even though I hate it, but today I just couldn't. We were at the end of the block and something like, Y-E-E-E-E-E-E-E-E-A-H. Come O-O-O-O-O-O-O-N. Wahoo, Y-E-A-A-H-A-H-A-H-A-H-A-H-A-H-A-H-A. So I just screamed out, Jesus Christ. Just shut up. The guy on my right said something like, I know, right? And the lady on my left said, it's so obnoxious. The banshee didn't say anything back but looked really embarrassed the rest of the time and decommissioned her harpy whistle for the rest of the workout. Anyway, now I feel kinda bad for yelling in the first place. So, AITA?